Welcome to MacDay 2025, the flagship event for the macadamia industry in South Africa. This year, we're exploring cracking the code, the power of data in macadamias. From nursery to orchard to processor, data has transformed the way we grow, manage, and understand our crop. Every measurement, observation, and analysis sharpen the decisions that shape our industry. Explore how economic trends and policy insights shape market access and development, equipping growers to stay competitive and unlock new opportunities for South African macadamias, or gain a deeper understanding of how geopolitical shifts influence our industry, while tracking consumer behavior and purchasing trends. These insights are essential to identifying risks, anticipating change, and unlocking opportunities for South African macadamias in competitive markets worldwide. Data from research projects guides smarter decision-making on farms. It drives initiatives that future-proof the industry, from sustainability and biological control to breeding improved cultivars and developing innovative tools for pest and disease management. The Orchard Rejuvenation Workshop will equip growers with practical strategies to restore older orchards, improve productivity, and extend the lifespan of their trees. By combining proven techniques with cutting-edge research, this session offers tools to unlock hidden potential in underperforming blocks. At MacDay 2025, we'll explore the latest innovations, share experiences, and see how data is reshaping the future of macadamias. Together, we'll unlock its potential and crack the code for a smarter, stronger, and more sustainable industry. Every presentation, every conversation, every connection adds to the story of MacDay. And today, that story begins.
Now let's talk about our inspiring theme for this year, cracking the code, the power of data in macadamias. Over the following days, we'll explore how technology and data analysis transforming every stage. There's a few housekeeping rules. I'm here to keep time, but I'm also here to make sure that we enjoy our morning. And most importantly, this is your time to network, to share knowledge, to absorb wisdom, and of course, most importantly, have fun along the way. So thank each and every one of you for being here to make MacDay 2025 memorable. We are all about connection and innovation and cracking the macadamia code together. So there's still lots happening. And before I call our chairman on, I'm going to give you a quick insight to the competitions. There are some great prizes to be won. And I know the chairman's looking, going, Diesel, we need to start. So do you want to hear about the competitions and what you can win? Oh, this row definitely wants. So I'll talk to you. You want to hear about the competitions. So each of you received one of these lanyards, and I've got Nadira's. Don't tell her I took her lanyard at reception. She's probably looking for it this morning. And at the back, you'll see my photo somewhere along the line there. You'll see the route map of where you can go around the venue. And you'll see a sticker page where you will get stickers at every single stand that you visit. And these programs are proudly sponsored by Nedbank. You'll find the competition at the back of the program. There are 32 stands in total, which means you need 32 stickers. Once you've collected them all, you pop them into the entry box. We'll do a lucky draw on the final day, and there are 2 Stanley flasks up for grabs. That's quite a nice one. So thank you so much for that competition. Then we've got a photo competition, #MacDay Moments. That's the hashtag you use throughout the next couple of days when you want to post something about the event. And Real IPM has a photo 360-degree camera, where if you post those pictures or that video from the 360 camera, you can stand a chance to win a field bar. Not just any field bar, it's filled with wine. This side of the audience are loving that. I can see you're going to do all the work. So, #MacDay Moments, that's the entry to use. Go to the Real IBM Photo 360 camera, pop your photo onto your socials, use that hashtag, and you could win. That's not all. One lucky grower will win a return flight valued up to 30,000 Rand to attend the International Macadamia Symposium in 2026. Word is, it could be in Australia next year. Keen about that one? Well, entering is easy. Just scan the QR code on the Green Farm Nut Company flyers. They're on your chair. You'd see them if you're sitting down. And if you don't see them on day 2 or day 3, don't worry, there are posters around the room. And all the details are there. So thanks to our sponsors, Green Farms Nut Company and Green and Gold Macadamia, for making this prize possible. So put your hands together one last time for our sponsors who made these competitions possible for us, ladies and gentlemen. Now we can get started and welcome Mr. Pierrie, chairperson of SAMAC, to open our first session, Driving Innovation and Growth, Economic Trends, Policy Insights, and Technological Transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker of the day.
Good morning, everyone. And I feel that it happens every year that the MC somehow gets hold of my speech when they do the introduction, the welcome. So my apology if I repeat some of the stuff that Lisa already spoken about, but it's my privilege and pleasure to welcome you all to MacDay 2025. We're excited about what's coming. I hope you are. And I trust that you are going to find our being together here valuable for you. Whether you have traveled from just down the road or is one of the delegates from the 13 different countries outside of South Africa, we are truly glad that you are here. Our gathering over the next day and a half is not only a celebration of how far we have come and as an industry, but also a reflection of the strong relationships and shared knowledge that continue to drive us forward as an industry. In line with our theme for this year, Cracking the Code, we are here to unpack the complexities of our industry, uncover fresh insights, and find new ways to grow together. MacDay has become one of the key highlights on the SAMAC calendar. It is the time to come together, learn from one another, address some tough challenges, and celebrate the progress we are making. Over the next day and a half, we will share with you some research outcomes impacting our industry. We will discuss current market conditions and what they mean for us. And I know that's very topical and everybody's talking about that at the moment. And then also share some insights into our tariff barriers and trade dynamics that continue to influence our industry. But beyond the presentations, what truly makes MacDay 2025 special is the opportunity to connect, to foster long-standing relationships and form new ones. Because in an industry like ours, it is through collaboration that we overcome our challenges and unlock opportunities. As South Africa continues to rise as the global leader in the macadamia world, it is vital that we stay informed, stay united, and be agile. So let us rise and use this MacDay to share openly, think boldly, and connect deeply. Please make use of this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to enjoy the conference with you. Welcome and thank you.
Joining us online to deliver the keynote welcome, please welcome the Director General of the Department of Agriculture, Mr. Mooketsa Ramasodi.
Good afternoon. My name is Mooketsa Ramasodi from the Department of Agriculture. It is an honor for the department to be invited to give an input in terms of the macadamia industry. The macadamia farming has emerged as a vital sector in South Africa's agricultural industry. With its high demand globally, macadamia nuts has become a lucrative crop for our farmers. Overall, production is a significant contributor to South Africa's agricultural sector, the economy, and towards job creation. It is also vital in terms of rural development. To further harness the potential of the macadamia farming industry, we need to strengthen public-private partnership, to invest in providing market linkages, particularly for small-scale farmers, investing in skills development and training, including entrepreneurship, encouraging farmer-to-farmer skills transfer, particularly towards capacitating new entrants, and not leave our extension services behind. It is encouraging to note that the SAMAC's objectives and programs align with the country's developmental objectives, which focus on research and development and also on transformation initiatives, on enterprise development, skills development, and socio-economic development. We believe that we can explore possible areas of collaboration and opportunities for the growth of the macadamia industry. For example, currently, only 13% of new varieties of released fruit in South Africa are subtropical fruits, and only 1.8 of these are macadamia varieties. With the increasing consumer demand and challenges with factors such as the climate change, we need to invest in research and development, in breeding of new varieties, and through partnerships between industry, academia, and the Agricultural Research Council. We acknowledge that the access to finance is a significant challenge to agriculture in general. And the macadamia industry is not immune to these challenges, which relates to high input costs, long production cycle, market fluctuations, and limited access to funding by small and emerging farmers. To address some of these challenges, the department has initiated programs such as the Comprehensive Agricultural Support Program and the Blended Finance Scheme, which could offer support to some of the farmers. This department is also looking at options of industry partnerships and collaboration with farmers, processors, exporters to provide financing options and technical support. We are all aware that plant pests pose a significant challenge to the agricultural sector, impacting on transformation efforts in various ways. Thus, the Department of Agriculture has partnered with the Department of Science Innovation and the University of Pretoria to establish the National Biosecurity Hub. The National Biosecurity Hub is a center of excellence and a national asset which is accessible to government, research organizations, students, and the general public. It aims to ensure pest information gathered, processed, evaluation, and also updated on a secure and verified platform. This goes a long way in addressing biosecurity threats with devastating effects to our economy and the livelihoods, especially of the small-scale farmers. We're also looking at the establishment of the roundtable value chains, enabling robust discussions and strategic planning together with key commodity groups such as Fruit SA and government departments, which is proving to be a success, particularly on issues around market access and regulatory compliance. We hope that the macadamia industry is not left behind in these developments. The macadamia industry growth is not only creating employment opportunities for thousands of South Africans, but also contributes significantly to our country's economy. This industry impacts and extends its impact beyond economic benefits. It plays a vital role in promoting sustainable agricultural practices and supporting rural development and empowering local communities. As we continue to navigate the complexities of our economy, the macadamia industry serves as a shining example in terms of innovation, resilience, and growth. And therefore, the aspects such as trading should always be central in creating a role that contributes towards industry growth and sustainability. It is without a shadow of a doubt that the macadamia industry plays a significant role in accelerating the South African economy and agricultural sector. With all of this, there is a high demand in terms of macadamia nuts. The only thing that we need to do is to ensure that this industry is sustainable, diversifies its product, as we have got the favorable climate, and there are export opportunities. Referring to export opportunities, we are aware of the impact of the 30% tariffs that are imposed by US that they will have on the macadamia industry, the number one industry that we have in our country. And government is working with the Department of Trade and Industry and Competition and other role players to ensure that we lessen the impact. We hope that with our discussions with the USA, we will be able to arrive at tariffs that would not hurt the industry, but assist us towards sustainability. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize that the macadamia industry is a vital component of South Africa's agricultural sector. It impacts on our economy, job creation, and sustainable development. As we move forward, let us continue to support and celebrate the growth of this remarkable industry by continually investing in training, skills transfer, research and development, and committing towards overall transformation of this sector to enable the industry to remain competitive in local and global markets. We are very sorry that we could not be physical with you, but we hope that our intervention would go a long way in terms of guiding the discussions in this important era of the macadamia industry. Thank you.
Please welcome to stage our keynote speaker, Mr. Rusty Labuschagne, author and resilience coach who inspires audiences worldwide with his remarkable story of hope, strength, and overcoming adversity.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to give special thanks to my agent, Social Alchemist, for making this possible to share my testimony with you, and I hope it inspires you. A quick intro video before I get started. My ancestors were part of the French Huguenots, who, due to religious persecution, fled France and settled in the Cape between 1688 and 1691. In 1913, my great-grandfather trekked from Deere in the Northern Cape to a little place called West Nicholson in southern Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. And that's where my life started. From humble beginnings, as a fourth-generation Zimbabwean in a cattle ranching background. I'm going to start off today by sharing a little bit of my life before prison, the hardships I endured mixed in with a few life lessons, and then the main life lessons I learned during my 10 years in prison. I'll be about 45 minutes. I want you to know two things before we get started. The first is that I'm innocent, and I want to reiterate that. I was ripped from my life and loved ones for years and spent a decade in prison. The second thing I want you to know is that I'm not free because I'm no longer incarcerated. My freedom means a lot more than that. It is a deeper freedom. And it is my road to this freedom that I want to share with you today. So let me highlight the contrast of my life before I got sent to prison. I was living the good life. I worked hard, played hard, and was an avid sportsman, playing several rugby tests for Zimbabwe too. I lived what you might call a very successful life with numerous thriving businesses. I was so busy being successful that after 14 years, my marriage fell apart. And I no longer lived under the same roof as my beloved children. And I missed them terribly. But through making the right business decisions, by the year 2000, life couldn't have been better for this farm boy who grew up dirt poor. I was extremely happy, making plenty of money in my safari business, was flying my own aircraft, had a fishing resort on the shores of beautiful Lake Kariba in Zimbabwe, flashy cars, houseboats, speedboats, you name it. And to top it off, I was engaged to a beautiful woman. Then in an instant, my world was turned upside down. It all started one weekend in December 2000 when I went on a fishing trip with friends to my fishing resort on Lake Kariba. Late one afternoon, one of my mates and I decided to go tiger fishing on the lake, leaving the other guys bream fishing in the river. And on our way back, we spotted two fish poachers in a steel boat, who immediately, upon seeing us, started paddling hastily for the shore in an effort to get away from us. Knowing they were notorious poachers, I drove my boat towards them to scare them off, and the wake of my boat tilted their boat, causing them to jump out into the water, which was about 1.5 meters deep. They were about 3 meters from the shore. They soon scrambled to dry land and ran off into the bush, and my mate and I thought nothing more of it. The following day, the police arrived with one of the poachers and accused us of drowning the other one. To cut a long story short, I was framed by the poacher, the police, and the courts in an ugly, politically influenced conspiracy and sentenced to 15 years in Zimbabwe's prisons, of which 5 were removed as remission. Unbelievably, my co-accused only got a $10 fine and was set free because he was not driving the boat. And that's exactly as it was stated in the judgment. The 3rd of April 2003, during the height of the land invasion chaos in Zimbabwe, against police evidence, without a body and on presumptions, I was convicted of drowning that poacher. The shock was inexpressible. I was innocent. I was a successful, self-made businessman with a high standing in the community. You can only imagine what is going through my mind when they read out that verdict. But what I didn't know then was from that moment on, my life would never be the same again. For the first 8 years, only one set of clothing was allowed at any one time. Standard white short-sleeve shirt and a pair of drawstring white shorts. Underwear was forbidden. After 6 months, you got a change of clothing. Sometimes. Other times after 9 months, leaving us walking around in tatters. I shared a cell 13 meters long by 3 meters wide with 78 other inmates. Each person had 33 centimeters, 13 inches, marked out on the walls in chalk. That was your space. The toilet was a stainless steel bowl sunk into an open 1 meter square cement block in one corner, as you can see in my sketch there. We were packed like sardines on our sides, with legs all crossing over in the middle. And we all faced the same direction. When you turned over, it was all together. As cushioning against the cold concrete floor, you'd fold 2 of your paper-thin, worn-out, lice-ridden blankets several times to fit your space, then covered yourself with a 3rd one. your clothes, wrapped around the toothbrush and toothpaste, or that gets stolen, that was your pillow. From sleeping on those freezing hard floors, my hips had bruised black rings for years, and shoulders ached continuously. Those floors are cold and hard, and not even the breath you take is your own. The back of somebody's head is there, and you can feel breathing on the back of your neck. Can anything be further removed from freedom than that? You're packed so close together that what someone else exhales, you inhale. And yet, physical freedom is one thing. You can deal with it. We all can. By living in the moment to survive. But freedom of the mind and soul, that is something else. That is true freedom. I slept beside serial killers, hardcore armed robbers, ruthless rapists, and innocent good men. During those lonely long years, I'd watch the pigeons, day after day. After they'd eaten the pieces of pup off the exercise yard floor, they'd fly over those high razor wire topped walls. And I wished a million times that I could somehow just fly away with them and be free again. And I don't believe there's a prisoner that doesn't think that, because it is the only glimpse of freedom you get to see in there. It's just cold walls, bars, and razor wire. No furniture whatsoever. No beds, no tables, no chairs, no cupboards, nothing. Not even a mirror. Didn't see my face for the first 8 years. It's just rows of filthy folded blankets and hundreds of well-used water bottles on bare concrete floors. For the first 8 years, the worst thing to deal with were the lice. Thousands of them that never went away, ever. They would crawl and bite day and night, leaving itchy, weeping blisters. And because they never stopped, they were training, both mentally and physically. And there is nothing you can do about it. It's us squeezing lice in ourselves. We had no basins or taps in the cells, and only one set of clothing was allowed at any one time. So we had to wash our clothes in the cell toilets at night, wearing a blanket, then hang them on the walls with smuggled book staples to dry by the next morning. 3 or 4 of us would get together and take turns to wash our clothes, because one garment had to be used to block the toilet to allow the toilet bowl to fill up when attempting to flush. No toilets flushed in any prison. The water only ever dribbled in slowly. Then you'd wash the clothes on the cement block surrounding the toilet bowl, dipping them in and out as we washed, as you can see in my sketch there. At about 5 a.m., we'd take the slightly damp clothes, place them on the cleanly swept concrete floor, and rub the creases out with a prison-made sponge. Then fold them neatly, place them in a pile, put a hand towel over the pile, and stamp on it hard with bare feet, leaving them perfectly ironed. Another hour hanging on the walls, they'd be ready to wear. Imagine wearing the clothes you're wearing now for 6 months without a change. Then to retain your dignity, having to wash them in a well-used toilet. Even if it was your sparkling clean toilet at home, then having to wear them the very next day. The humiliation was beyond comprehension. That is Chikurubi Maximum Security Prison in Harare, and the red circle indicates my hall for 4.5 years in the prime of my life. I was transferred to Chikurubi after exactly 1 year in Cronje Maximum Security Prison. In 2005, during the Zimbabwe dollar crash, Harare city ran out of water. For 3 years, while in Chikurubi Maximum Security Prison, each prisoner was allocated only 1 plastic cup of water a day. 1 cup of dirty orange city runoff water from a nearby dam carried by farm prisoners. That was to drink, clean your teeth, wash your face, bath, everything for 3 years. That's us sitting in formation, waiting for 1 cup a day. I have learned that the most important things in life cannot be bought. Health, loved ones, and friends. In that order. During my first 6 years in prison, I watched over 2,200 guys die. Primarily from malnutrition. It was during the Zimbabwe dollar crash when there was no food outside of prison, never mind in there. After being moved to a medium security prison during the cholera outbreak of 2008 and 2009, in 8 months, out of 1,200 prisoners at Harare Central Prison, 432 guys died. More than 1/3 of us in 8 months. One weekend, 22 guys died. And that triggered something inside me about my health. And I want to challenge every one of you here today to do a rain check on your health. Because once your health is gone, everything else in your life will have no meaning whatsoever. Loved ones, in June 2006, the prisoner death rate was so high from malnutrition and disease that prison headquarters started allowing relatives to deliver food to their loved ones daily. And my darling sisters, Bev and Lynn, fed me for 3 months, selling furniture and scraping money from wherever, until Lynn sold her clay pot business and gave up her career just to feed me for 4 more years. That takes a very special person. And I can honestly say that without her, I wouldn't be standing up here today. She was married, she had 2 kids, sold her business, gave up everything just to feed a boat. And unfortunately, very few relatives could financially afford to feed their loved ones daily. And I helped as many guys as I could afford to, but the hunger continued for most. But friends, family, love and support sustained me as much as the warm home-cooked food they brought. And friends, Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. There is a special unwritten code that bonds friends like we all share in this part of the world. The warm, caring, and considerate society we make up from all walks of life can never be equaled anywhere. I shared treasured memories with thousands of good people in Africa. And it was those memories and their endless generosity, consideration, and knowing what a fantastic bunch of people we still have left here that kept me going all those years in hell. Knowing that one day I'd be traveling around reminding people, including you here today, never to forget the value of your friends. Because only when you have them all taken away do you realize how much they mean to you. What I've shared with you so far is about 3% of my story. The rest you can find in my book, which will be for sale afterwards, $320 each. There's a whole lot. If you think this is inspiring and uplifting by the end, this is 100 times stronger. There's a lot of stuff I can't talk about. The late Ian Mack, former Springbok rugby coach, did the forward. For me, he grew up with my dad and followed my rugby all the way through. But I want you all to go back 10 years in your life. So think about where you were middle of 2015. And think about how much you've accomplished in the last 10 years. That's what a big chunk I had taken away. But even in the depth of such horrendous experiences, I knew I had ultimate control of how I chose to feel and respond. Behind every severity lies an opportunity. And that experience gave me the opportunity to get to know hidden attributes about myself and time to consider some really important things in life. My life in chains taught me many lessons, and that's what I'd like to share with you now. How my faith and mental strength got me through there. After being moved to a medium security prison while delivering food one day, my sister asked me if I would like an iPod. So I said to her, "What's an iPod?" She said, "It's the thing that plays music." So I said, "Well, how big is it?" She indicated this small, flat little thing. So I said, "Well, how many songs does it play?" She said, "About 1,000. I said, "No ways. Where do you put all the CDs?" That's how much technology had advanced in just 6 years I'd been away. Anyway, the following day, the iPod arrived under the salad. And about a week later, one of those cheap Nokia cell phones was sneaked in too with a rechargeable battery. And it was exciting, risky business that you couldn't dream of in a maximum security prison. This is medium security. And everything was going perfectly until an envious prisoner reported me. After an unexpected search, unbelievably through some quick maneuvering with on-site guards, nothing was discovered. But I was sent to solitary confinement anyway for 2 years. That was extremely lonely. But after experiencing that precious little link to the outside world, I had to get my phone back, and I did, which made a huge difference. 18 months later, everything going perfectly. One of the friendly guards approached my style at 5 a.m. and whispered, "Russ, they're coming for your phone." And there's no way of getting a phone out of there. But someone had brought me a protein powder about a month before. Sorry, my throat is getting dry. And it was a big process to get it in. Had to go through the doctor and security. Anyway, when I got it, I opened it, broke the silver seal, tasted it, and when I put the seal back and closed it, the next time I opened that seal, it stuck. So I thought I'll keep it to hide my phone in there. So that morning I opened it, broke the seal, took half the powder out, wrapped the phone in plastic. I'd given my iPod to a mate, put the phone in, put the powder, put the seal. 6 o'clock the guards arrive. What they do is they make you strip naked, then you jump with your legs open like you're hiding something. Then you all have to do that. And then we all walk out into this courtyard, 1,200 guys, stark naked. And they do the search. So after the search, I go back into my cell and everything is upside down everywhere. But my protein powder, still in good shape. 5 minutes later, I'm summoned to the security office. So I walk in there. There are 4 guards standing, one seated behind a long desk and an empty chair. I hadn't sat in a chair for 7.5 years. He said to me, "Take a seat." So I sat down, felt good. He said, "Do you have a girlfriend called Karen?" I said, "No." I said, "I had one before prison called Karen." He said, "Okay. When did you last talk to her?" I said, "Long ago, before prison." He said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah." He handed me a letter addressed to me from Karen. "So now talking to you on the phone the other night, you sound so positive." After some intense questioning, the story came to me, and I said, "Now, Karen was having lunch in Bulawayo, and she met a lady there, and they started chatting, and soon realized that they both had boyfriends in the same prison. So the lady said, 'Well, let me call my boyfriend, who's a guard in there. He can call Russ, and you guys can have a chat.' So I used the guard's phone. But after I couldn't tell them what the guard's name was, they didn't buy it. An hour later, I'm escorted up to the officer in charge's office. When you go up there, it's big trouble. And they were waiting, like 15 big brass officers all standing in a half circle. Officer in charge behind his big desk and my empty chair. He said, "Take a seat." So I sat down. He said, "If you don't tell me what that God's name is, your life in this prison is going to change." And him and I got on really well. And I said, "Well, officer, I don't know his name." And then the questions started. How tall was he? How old? What rank? Where did you make the call? How long ago did you make the call? And they were getting furious because they couldn't pin me on anything. And then the head of the soccer, very nice officer, he said, "Do you want to talk to the officer in charge on your own?" So I said, "Yes, please." So they all leave, close the door. I said, "Officer, we've both been through hell. I've donated endless stuff to the prison service." I said, "Can't you just let this one go?" He said, "Russ, I don't care about you, but I want the God's name now." He's furious. So I said, "Well, I don't know his name." He said, "Okay." He calls officers, they put him on death row in the dark cell. So they escorted me over to the condemned section. You had to hang guys in those days. And there were 56 cells. 52 had guys waiting to be hung. And of the 4 that were left, and the cells are exactly the same as my solitary confinement. So they're 3 meters by 1 meter by 3 meters, and a vent. They don't have a window. And one of those 4 cells had a staircase built over the vent, and the electric light didn't work. So it was pitch black. And they used to put guys in there to break them. So they made me strip naked, gave me 3 worn-out light-ridden blankets, a 5-liter container cut off at the top as a toilet, same as solitary, and a liter of water. They locked me in there for 23 hours and 45 minutes a day. So I was allowed out 5 minutes in the morning to clean my teeth, 5 minutes at 10 o'clock to have a shower, 5 minutes at 3 o'clock to prepare for lockup. It was cold, lonely and dark, like being buried alive. I couldn't even see my hand. And I remember just walking, feeling the walls, got to the other end, press-ups, other side, squats, just to keep my mind going. Desperate, on day 6, I got on my knees and I prayed. And I'll never forget the feeling of like warm water being poured over me and a total sense of calmness. So I sat on the floor, leaning against the wall. Within 30 minutes, I faintly heard my Afrikaans mate shouting from the soccer ground, "Hey, Russ, everything's okay, my mate, don't worry, everything's okay." So I jumped up, I said, "Hey, Phil," I said, "Don't worry, Russ, everything's okay." So I said, "Okay." Lay down on the concrete, looking up at the darkness. Within 10 minutes, I unlocked my door. And the sound of the locks goes right through you. Chucked in my clothes, said, "The officer charge wants to see you." So I get dressed, go out into the blinding sun, across the courtyard, up the stairs to his office. His exact words were, he said, "Hello, Russ." I said, "Hello, officer." He said, "Have you remembered the girl's name yet?" I said, "No, officer." He said, "I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it in God's hands. You can go back to your cell." And at the exact moment when I was praying, my sister was paying him $200 to get me out of there. That was a huge turning point in my spiritual walk, and I'm happy to say that Jesus is everything in my life today. I have learned not to let past thoughts hurt me. The past only exists in your head. It can only come to life if you let it. Jesus said in Matthew 6:27, "Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life?" I was forced to live in the moment in prison, and it's one of the biggest lessons I still practice today. That's a picture of me in Harare Central Prison in 2010, 18 months after the cholera outbreak ended. It was a sad, lonely time in my life. To be able to find positives in all the negatives going on around me brought hope, which is a huge part of getting through prison life. Hope is the anchor of your soul. It's what kept me sane and grounded in there. Hope enabled me to see that there is light despite all the darkness. Let your hopes, not your troubles, shape your future. I'll say that again. Let your hopes, not your troubles, shape your future. And never look for hope outside of yourself. To find it, you need to look within. If you'd said to me in year 1, you're going home in year 3, I would have said never. I'm going home like 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks I could live with. Anything beyond that was too painful. I counseled myself on how to think through the physical impact my thoughts had on me. If I thought about my fiancée with another oak, or my mates on fishing trips, or trips to Vegas we went every year for marketing, it was too painful. And I blocked them out until that peace returned. And to be able to find happiness in even the smallest things that happened in prison kept me healthy. Those who couldn't died. Life in prison or in Las Vegas is still just life. It's what you make of it, no matter where you are. I had everything I could ever wish for. And in moments, it was all gone. Why you should forgive. The humiliation of being labelled a murderer and terrible conditions were extremely hard to deal with. As was the pain of my bitterness, anger, hatred, frustration, and revenge for what they'd done and were doing to me. I hated them bitterly. And initially, would lie there for hours, wishing every terrible thing on each of them in turn, the poacher, the police, the judge, the ministry, and all who were involved in my conviction. Then one day, I was struck by the realization that they'd all forgotten about me long ago. Here I was, consumed by the unfairness of it all, and they, blissfully unaware of the evil I wished on them every day. In the end, I was only hurting myself. I was carrying all that in my head and beating myself up for nothing. The single biggest lesson I learned in prison was true forgiveness. And for me, it is bigger than anything I could have achieved on my own. True forgiveness was inspired by God Almighty. And so letting go. It was a huge weight off my shoulders. And I learned to live in the moment from then on. The past was too painful, and the future full of unkept promises. So I just dealt with each day as it was. I learned to have faith, because no amount of worrying was going to change what I was going through. If you have anger or resentment towards anyone in any way, it will eventually destroy you. Because that is what those emotions do. They steal from you. They steal happiness and freedom. And many people ask me how I managed to forgive them for what they did to me. I remember the exact moment, after about a year, walking in that exercise yard, and I was tired of all the anger, hatred, and bitterness. It was that draining me daily. And I remember looking up, and I just said to myself, I said, Lord, take care of them, and let me get through this road that's been put in front of me. What goes around comes around, so I'll get what they deserve. And once I accepted that, my life in prison changed. And the amazing thing was, it wasn't a gradual process for me. It was an instant mindset shift. It was like I had this secret that I was keeping from all my mates for years and years, so scared it was going to get out. And then one day I just told them, out. Forgiveness doesn't change the person that hurt you. Forgiveness changes you. It frees you. You can look at it in two ways. You can forgive, forget, and move forward, or you can retain, remember, and regret. The choice is yours. And if you say, I'll forgive, but I'll never forget, then you still remember and will never move forward. And I don't mean forget the lessons learned from the incident. Just don't revisit the incident. Don't revisit the pain. You can't bounce back from anything unless you forgive those who you believe have done you wrong. And only when you forgive and let go of the past can you be fully free to move forward with your full potential. Why you should be grateful. We all want too much in our lives, concentrating on what we haven't got instead of being grateful for what we have. And for me, giving thanks to God every day goes a long way. For my health, beautiful family, a lovely wife, a soft bed, running water, and so on. When there's no food, no water, and people are dying all around you, you become grateful for the fact that you're still breathing. And another day is a blessing. When you lie in a cell with 78 other people, and your breath is not even your own, gratitude suddenly has a different meaning altogether. Accepting that what I went through cannot be changed, and being grateful for what it taught me has unlocked my vision for my future. The healthiest of all human emotions is gratitude. Remember that and practice it. Having an attitude of gratitude is one of the most impactful habits for a fulfilling and healthy life. After Red Cross had taken over feeding in March 2009, we began a soccer league. Things got back to normal in there. And I was delighted to make the prison squad as a goalkeeper, giving me the privilege to walk under strict escort to play against the officer side on a field in their compound. And during our jovial march there, singing all the way with fellow players, I asked one of the guards if I might touch my first tree in 6.5 years. When granted permission, I joyously broke formation and did so. And I clearly remember the roughness of the bark, reminding me of my granddad's farms, and the distinct smell of that jacaranda tree, which I knew so well. You have no idea how beautiful and uplifting it felt just to touch a tree and feel green grass again. My first evening at Connemara Open Prison, which is a farm prison where I was transferred after 8 years, I spent sitting around an open fire on odd logs and bleached cattle skulls, chatting with old Ndebele inmates, taking me back to what I loved so dearly as a child. Now I remember getting lost in the interesting stories and the beauty of the sunset, the dancing flames, tranquil call of an acha, and the bright stars and the moon, which I hadn't seen for 8 lonely long years. I didn't see a sunset or sunrise either for my first 8 years. Now, I appreciate the everyday little things in life, like a soft bed, a hot bath, the feeling of warm water in the shower, tasty meal, spontaneous cuddle from a loved one. Because those are the things you miss most when you have it all taken away. There are things we know that rejuvenate us. And for me, it has always been nature. I am, and will forever be, a farm boy from Zimbabwe at heart. Nature's in my blood. Touching a tree, smelling the earth, the feeling of soil in my hands. These things bring me restoration. And for you, it might be hanging out with friends, dancing, reading a good book, or swimming in the ocean. Whatever is good for you, do more of it. I want to take you back to the year 2000, the year the incident took place. The top left-hand picture on the far left is a billionaire client of mine, Ray Anthony, from Pittsburgh. And we're flying in his private jet from Fort Lauderdale to Tampa, Florida, where we collected General Norman Schwarzkopf, this gentleman on the right of that picture next to me. He was the officer commanding of the United States Armed Forces during the Gulf War, the most powerful man in the world at the time. It was a huge honor. We were flying to Reno, Nevada to attend the Safari Club International Convention together. The top right-hand picture, I'm standing with Glenn Dubin and Louis Bacon, 2 billionaires from New York that I spent wonderful time on safari with. Bottom left picture, I'm in a V8 Ferrari, which is my car in Miami for a month. Bottom right, on a private yacht in Fort Lauderdale. My life back then was all about flashy cars, private yachts, and mixing with billionaires. I thought I was invincible, flying high, thinking I was bulletproof. Unbeknown to me, my life was being controlled by ego, power, and money. Going further back in my life, I was a wild teenager, make no mistake. Drinking, fighting, poaching, anything that pushed the boundaries of the law was fun. We lived life to the full. It was a wild time during those war years in Zimbabwe. Never considering the consequences. But had I known during all those years what I know now, life would have been very different. You don't want to know what else I went through in prison. I had to fight for my life on many occasions. And it was by the grace of God that I came out alive. Thousands didn't. With all due respect, Be very careful what path you choose to follow in this world today. Don't get mixed up with the wrong people and start pushing the boundaries of the law, because you don't want to go where I've been. There's no mercy in prison. None. It's real and it's rough. Despite the hell I'd gone through, physically and mentally, the worst part was knowing that my beloved children were growing up without me. I told you in the beginning that not living under the same roof as them when my wife and I separated was the hardest thing. Imagine the heartbreak I felt when I went to prison. We have always been extremely close. It is a bond I will cherish and protect to my dying day. My proud son, Dusty, only 18 at the time, was always full of ambition. And we joyously discussed and dreamed of making millions and planned endless projects and adventures. He was following in my footsteps and loving every minute of it, ready to take on the world with his dad, and then I was ripped away. My precious 16-year-old daughter Sandy and I had, and still have, an extraordinarily beautiful bond. Since a baby, she's always been my shadow. And especially she to me, I'm to her. But at 16, I was her anchor. I was everything in her eyes. She confided in me without boundaries and clung to everything I said and did. I loved them beyond expression. They loved me. And the times they needed me most, I wasn't there. They went through first loves, crushes, dances, 21st birthdays, and entered the wide world, and I wasn't there to see it. It is an annoying feeling knowing that I'm their father, should have been there, but I couldn't be. And I don't want anyone here ever to have to feel that way. Make enough time for your loved ones. Thinking back on the events of my life, it was so hard making sense of so much of it, but I see it so clearly now, how I was being prepared for greater things. Before prison, I was a big fish in Little Bulawayo, going nowhere, like a hamster on a wheel going round and round. And it was all about me, my empire, money, more and more. And now, I'm a little fish in a whole wide world, making a huge difference, and it's not about me. It's about helping others and making a difference in other people's lives. I can now see how the Lord supernaturally drew me away from the outdoor safari life that I loved so dearly to find my purpose. He has taken me from humble beginnings to great success, mixing with the world's elite, flying in private jets across the world, etc. Then being put through that nightmare and losing everything I'd worked my whole life for. But he has prepared me for this calling. And believe it or not, I thank God for my 10 years in prison. I do. Because I'm a better person now than I would have been had I not gone to prison. I'm stronger, I understand people more, I understand God more, and I believe it's made me able to reach out to you to tell you that you can recover from whatever life throws at you. Do you think anyone can ever fully recover from a terrible setback in life? Well, you're looking at somebody that did. You're looking at living proof that you can recover from anything life throws at you. Whatever you're going through in life right now, just remember, you've been prepared for where you're going. God has a plan for each and every one of us. I wish I could express the happy, bubbly, exciting, beautiful feeling I felt as I walked out those prison gates to freedom after 10 years of hell. People don't appreciate freedom. And I realized that even when we're not in prison, there are ways in which we imprison ourselves. So our business partnerships, badly selected careers, being obsessed with money and ambition in the corporate world, even unhappy marriages. And it's only when you have your freedom completely taken away do you realize in many ways that you're actually in prison too? And when I look back on it all, it makes me wish I could somehow get through to people how precious and priceless freedom is. If you look at your life as it is, how free are you within your circumstances? Freedom is not just not being in prison. Freedom is the ability to make a choice and act on it. Freedom is letting go of what you can't control. Freedom is forgiveness. Freedom is being free from negativity. Freedom brings health. If you can be free in all areas of your life, then you'll reach your full potential. When you go through what I've endured, they crush you in every way, mentally and physically, emotionally. And no matter how confident you were when you went in, to pick yourself up again is tough. They broke my confidence, my spirit, my soul, everything. I had a huge, wounds in my life that I thought would never heal. And a massive void in my life that I thought would never be filled. But the moment I met my wife, 9 years ago, I knew there was something very special and unique about her. Within 3 years of meeting her, I was completely healed and whole once again. I could never have imagined the peace and happiness that I now experience every day. And I want to thank you, my love, and I thank you, Jesus. The company you keep influences your thinking influences your actions influence your character, and your character determines your destiny. In conclusion, I was fortunate. I'd made it big, very successful, and possibly during that time, I became a bit arrogant. But that experience has made me realize that I'm just a normal human being. That you can't value your life based on your title, your success, or your material possessions. If you had everything taken away from you right now, who'd be left? What would people see looking at you as a person? We need to look at our core values more deeply and see how we can change lives and maybe make a difference in this world. There were times in there when I just felt this was the end. I didn't have the mental strength left to overcome more of those never-ending challenges. But from the bowels of despair comes this realization that just as my mind had helped drag me through those depths that far, so could it pull me out of them. Each and every one of us, when you dig deep enough, can find this inner strength to get through life's toughest times and deepest holes, out of our cages, out of the dark. Every one of you here today is faced with challenges, day in and day out. Those that you look for and those that sneak up on you from behind. But who you are and the depth of your determination is what's going to elevate you to become someone that people will look up to and forever remember. Thank you very much.
Got nuts? Got citrus, stone fruit, or even vines or shrubs? Then Smart Apply is for you. Smart Apply's technology is transforming how specialty crop growers around the world are applying chemicals and capturing data for their overall growing operations. Smart Apply delivers value across a wide variety of crops in orchards, vineyards, and nurseries. Growers of all sizes are jumping on board to install the most innovative precision spray technology for high-value crops and are seeing significant cost savings and improved on-farm sustainability. Smart Apply is sold as a customized kit that is installed in your spraying system. It is compatible with almost every air blast and over-the-row sprayer, including the Gus autonomous sprayers. Whether you are breathing new life into your existing sprayer or looking to upgrade to a brand new sprayer, Smart Apply transforms your equipment into a high-tech precision spraying system. At the heart of Smart Apply is LiDAR hardware, which is positioned at the front of the sprayer. Using this laser technology, scanning 270 degrees, the system collects 24,000 data points per second, day or night, to create a digital blueprint of your canopy. This data is processed in real time, and a signal is then sent through our control box to each individual nozzle on your sprayer. That signal then controls when the solenoids fire, ensuring every nozzle is applying chemical only on your canopy at the exact right place and time. Smart Apply doesn't just optimize spraying, it also captures valuable data. Inside the tractor cab, a tablet runs Smart Apply's software, gathering real-time information from the LiDAR and preset configurations. The tablet is set up to mirror the exact layout of your sprayer, ensuring seamless operation. As you spray, the system automatically maps out key data points, including acreage covered, tree counts, canopy volume, spray volumes applied, date and time logs, labor reports, tree and vine health insights, and more. All of this information is stored securely in our Smart Apply cloud, giving you instant access to both historical and real-time data whenever you connect to Wi-Fi. With Smart Apply's precision spraying, you can cut water and chemical costs by up to 73%. By only applying what's needed, exactly where it's needed, you eliminate overspray and reduce waste, helping you save money while maintaining healthy crops. Fewer trips to the shed to mix chemicals and refill sprayers mean less downtime and fewer labor hours spent spraying. This increased efficiency translates to real savings, with an average ROI in just 12 months. Some growers have reported a return on investment in as little as 4 months. Smart Apply isn't just about efficiency, it's about sustainability. By applying the right amount of chemicals exactly where they're needed, Smart Apply helps reduce water and chemical runoff by up to 93%, protecting soil, roots, and groundwater from contamination. Precision spraying also reduces airborne drift by up to 87%, keeping chemicals from spreading to nearby fields, forests, and waterways. This not only safeguards the environment, but also creates a healthier workplace by limiting chemical exposure for those working in orchards, vineyards, nurseries, and hop yards. With Smart Apply, you're not just improving your bottom line, you're investing in a smarter, more sustainable future for your farm. Set, spray, save, protect. Visit smartapply.com to learn more.
It's our pleasure to welcome Ms. Ayanda Nhlapo, Tactical Marketing Planner at John Deere, one of our esteemed co-event partners, to share her insights with us today.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. We're really excited about that smart piece of technology that we've introduced into our lineup at John Deere. So it's a real honor to be here today on behalf of John Deere as a proud co-event sponsor for MacDay, which is hosted by SAMAC. We're excited to stand alongside you in celebrating one of South Africa's most dynamic and valuable agricultural sectors. As many of you know, South Africa leads the world in macadamia production and exports. From the orchards of Limpopo, Mpumalanga, as well as KwaZulu-Natal, this industry continues to thrive, and so does our connection to it. These regions are not only home to world-class macadamia farms, but also to John Deere's trusted dealer network that's been supporting these farmers for generations. But we also know that it's not all smooth sailing, mainly due to some tough weather conditions, sometimes smaller yields, which means tighter margins. And that's why innovation becomes essential. And we are thrilled that this year's theme for this year's MacDay is centered around innovation and data-driven insights, where John Deere is the leader within the agricultural industry globally. At John Deere, our mission is simple: to help farmers work smarter, as we invested millions of dollars in R&D to bring cutting-edge tools into your hands. We're here to help you reduce input costs, boost productivity, and ultimately improve profitability. Because farming today isn't just about muscle, It's about making smart, informed decisions that are backed by data and technology. We also understand that not every farm runs on massive equipment. Many macadamia growers rely on small ag tractors like the 5075E and the 5090E. And that's why we're thrilled to announce something new that launched just this year. JD Link is now available on all 5E series tractors. This means all John Deere tractors can now benefit from connectivity and enhanced efficiency. JD Link and the John Deere Operations Center app. You can keep an eye on your machine's health and performance from anywhere, plan maintenance and avoid costly downtime, track your fleet and track your fleet from wherever you are in one view for better coordination and management, as well as set geofencing and curfews to protect your equipment. This isn't just about collecting data, it's about turning data into better decisions faster. As we look into the future of farming, one thing is clear. Precision agriculture is no longer a concept, it's a necessity. And today, we're proud to showcase a technology that's already making measurable impact. John Deere's Smart Apply technology, as you've seen in the video. Smart Apply uses advanced LiDAR laser sensors to scan your orchids in real time, adjusting spray volumes based on actual tree density. This means crop protection products are applied exactly where they're needed, no more and no less. The results have spoken for themselves. 30 to 50% reduction in chemical use, up to 50% less water consumption, 93% reduction in chemical runoff, 87% reduction in airborne drifts. And what this means for macadamia growers, healthier orchids, lower input costs, it improves environmental stewardship, and obviously stronger profit margins. Smart Apply isn't just smart. It's practical, it's scalable, and it's ready to work in your orchids today. We invite you to see the Smart Apply unit that is mounted on the AFGRI sprayer just outside this venue today. And we have our sales teams who can provide you with more information on the technology itself as well as availability. It's not just the future, it's here. And it's working for farmers like you all across the world. In closing, at John Deere, we're committed to making our farmers more productive, more profitable, and more sustainable. As we share SAMAC's commitment to continuous improvements and innovation, as South Africa continues to lead the global macadamia industry, we're committed to walking this journey with you through technology, partnerships, and unwavering support. Thank you for having us, and please do stop by our stand inside as well as our tractors outside and experience and see the John Deere difference. Let's keep growing smarter together.
Nie my kwalijk nie. As ek vanaand vir jou bid waar jy op jou groentrekker sit. En daar waar jy ploeg, laat die stof so staan. Nog voor die reën kom druk. Waar die groen die aarde breek, waar die ooi en die lam en die springbok ram na hartelus kan vreet. Elke klaaglied of jy gekreet, jy sal verseker weet. By die bedag verreën maak seker is die een wat sal breën daarin neem. die donker wolke oop, soos 'n swart karos teen die hemel daarbo, totdat ek diep aangedaal in poele van genade staan. Elke klaaglied of juichkreet, hoe jy sal verseker weer, by die middag verreën maak seker is een assemblee daarin neem. En ek hoop nie, jy gee hom nie, as ek vanaand vir jou bid waar jy op my John Deere trekker sit.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was our first session. Let's put our hands together one more time for all our speakers, please. So I was actively listening, but I wonder if my AI co-MC, Mackie, is still with us.
Absolutely. I've really enjoyed this first session. I was going to say I'm quietly observing everyone, but let's be honest. I'm way too charming for that. Don't worry, I'm here as a friend. Though if anyone drops a bad pun, I might roast you a little. Guy on the left, second from the back. Don't worry, I won't embarrass you yet. But I will say, if enthusiasm for Macadamias were measured in seating choice, you'd be the world champion of strategic hiding spots.
I'm looking for that person right there at the back. That's a wrap of our first session, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Rusty signing and selling his books for you in the corner there. We're going to take we've got a 30-minute break. Tia via car table has some exciting goodies for you, some great freebies. The team are there, and after each break, there'll be some new goodies up for grabs over there. And then to your left, you'll find the exhibit area. Through the foyer and to your right, the research hub, so go and get out there. We'll be back at 11:15, not 10:46, not 10:47. Please, these sport watches and our smart watches are there for a reason. And then don't forget to pop by each stand, collect your stickers, 32 stickers in total, one from each stand, pop them into the entry box during the break as we have a tea break of 30 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. See you back at 2:45 seated. Not 10:43 either, but I know you'll be here for that.